Okay, so I had to split 04.01 into two. So there's part 1, P1, part 2, P2. And so it's going to start right where we left off, which was gramática nueva, imperfect tense. Okay, so we talked about in the last one, you learned that preterite tense. Last semester we learned preterite tense right here. If you follow my cursor, is used to talk about an action or event that was completed in the past. In Spanish, there's another way to talk about the past, and that's the imperfect tense. That's el imperfecto. Okay, so examples of this are like cuando eras pequeña, when you were young, eras callada. Okay, you were or you used to be quiet. So when you were little, you used to be quiet. That's where eras comes in. Another example is Ivan jugaba con sus hermanos en el lago todos los veranos. Okay, Ivan played with her brothers at the lake every summer. Okay, so one thing we're talking about with imperfect tense is something that happened often or regularly when you were young. The preterite tense, which we learned last semester, was is past tense, very simple past tense, and it's like when something happened very specifically in the past, like last Tuesday, I ate a hot dog. Okay, but imperfect tense is more like every summer when I was little, I ate hot dogs with my grandpa. Okay, so it's something that you did often or regularly in the past. So ojo is kind of like, look at this. It's something extra that they want to point out. It says when translating sentences with imperfect tense verbs to English, the imperfect tense translation can be used to plus the verb would, the verb or verb ed. Like you used to, ed, like I'm trying to think of slipping my mind. Created would be like the verb, like create ed, like created. Okay, so used to, like I used to eat hot dogs. I used to comía, like I used to eat hot dogs with my grandpa. Would I would eat comía. I would eat hot dogs with my grandpa every Friday when I was younger. Okay, I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions about that, just give me a shout and let me know. So then you're gonna go up here. The navigation for all of these is at the top. Now mine looks strange. Well, let me go back. Let me see what's going on. Now it's like reverted to some strange version. Okay. All right, let's go. Okay, pause. Okay, I'm not sure what was going on with the formatting, but it was all wacky. So when you get up here, when you're navigating between these pages, you just go up here to this arrow and you click next. So we went through that page, and now we're in Gramática Nueva imperfect tense. It's more information. Okay, so my hair's going crazy. Okay. So just like the preterite tense, the imperfect tense has specific situations where you would use the tense. Learning this tense is as clear as water. So they're giving you an acronym to learn. Check out this acronym that will help you remember each situation. Okay, you can make it bigger here. Okay, or actually smaller. Okay, so to know when you use imperfect tense. So W is weather. Weather stating what the weather was like in the past. Hacía mal tiempo el jueves pasado. It was bad weather last Thursday. So it's weather, age, stating someone's age in the past, time, date, telling the time or date in the past. These are all examples below. I'm not going to read through the entire thing because you can read through all this on your own. And I don't want to make the video super long. But you have time and date, emotions, thoughts, feelings, and emotions, like estaba asustado, like I was scared. Repeated, ongoing. This is talking about events that happened repeatedly in the past. And setting scenes, describing people, backgrounds, and things. Durante mi niñez yo era obediente. Like during my childhood, I used to be obedient. Okay, so when you scroll down here, so again, review that. That's really important to know to figure out when to use imperfect versus preterite. And this is a good comparison of the two. So how do you know when to use the preterite tense and when to use the imperfect tense? It takes a lot of practice, so review the differences between both tenses. Okay, the preterite tense is an action, not a thought or description. It is something that occurred at an exact moment in time in the past, something that you can pinpoint. So this is something, the difference between like, I ate a hot dog at 4:52 last Friday, where the imperfect tense, and that would be preterite tense, whereas imperfect tense would be like, I used to eat hot dogs on Fridays. Like, so it's just kind of not specific, but something that regularly happened in the past. Again, preterite tense is something that began and was completed totally in the past and was not ongoing. So that example I just gave you is an exact example of that. Your imperfect tense is repeated, habitual, or continuous actions. That means things that you did regularly in the past. Actions or that were ongoing. Actions that started in the past when another action or event occurred. So example of that is like when I was studying math, I choked on a hot dog. Okay, to keep using the hot dog example. Okay, so you would say something was ongoing, like while I was studying would be the ongoing action that was kind of ongoing happening. And then I choked on a hot dog would be a specific thing that happened. You didn't choke on hot dogs all the time in the past. You did it at a specific time. So that would be preterite, but then imperfect would be I was studying, while I was studying. Okay, so imperfect tense is times, dates, and ages. Like when I was 12, talking about times, dates, and ages, like times being like when I was a student at Antioch High School, these things happened. Or dates are like on my birthday, I used to have a yellow cake every birthday. And ages, the same thing, like this can be ages like periods of time kind of ages, like medieval age kind of thing, or ages as in like when I was 12, these things happened. And then lastly, descriptions of feelings, character traits, conditions, settings, and circumstances. Okay, so like when I was 12, I used to be really sad every time I saw the movie It. Like, these are just strange examples because they're off the top of my head, but they're examples of just ways to use imperfect tense. Okay, so ponte las pilas. Okay, so the imperfect tense is not waters under the bridge. All it takes is practice. Okay, these are interesting puns. Okay, so this is where you practice. This is like putting you on your toes. Like now it's time for you to practice. Okay. So you have instrucciones, select the option that best applies to the situation, practice as many times as you need. So you click that, and you've got, so what type of action takes place in the imperfect tense? A repetitive action in the past, a complete action in the past, an action happening right now, an action that just happened. So you work through those and practice those. Then you're going to go up here and navigate to the next section, which is using this arrow. And now we're going to be talking about El Cañaveral de Puerto Rico. Sorry, I'm having like some cough stuff still going on. So, in El Cañaveral de Puerto Rico. Okay. And again, it says, you read this below. Do you know the story of your grandparents and great-grandparents? Today, you'll learn about the working class in Puerto Rico and some common practices in some neighborhoods. Remember to prepare by using las estrategias antes de leer. Excuse me. Okay, so these are your strategies. Again, there's all kinds of clickable things in your course to help you with different things. So just try and use as much as you can in your course to help you with each assignment and with each lesson. So there are different strategies. You can read through those. They are really helpful to just like things to remember while you're reading in a foreign language. Okay, so here under Puerto Rico, you're going to have, this is all in Spanish. And again, if you go right here, If you need help with the English, you can open that and you can also see the English. Okay. Un cañaveral is a sugarcane field. Okay, so that is what you are learning about. Different aspects of that in this lesson. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. Palabras importantes para la comprensión is words that are important for your comprehension. Okay, use these words to help you understand the reading. So these, you can read through these. These are all really interesting words that you're going to be learning and that you learned. Okay, so it has some more information here, and you can read through this. Read through this to further your learning about this particular aspect of the lesson about Puerto Rico. Okay, lastly, I think you can navigate through this. Now it's talking to you about going to your assignment. Your practice. Okay, so now you've gone through all the new vocabulary. It's time to show what you know. Let's find out how much you've learned so far. Remember, you can always go back and review the lesson content. Okay, so you can go through this activity. Then go to the next page. Excuse me. And it says, Felicidades, you sure have grown up. Now you're able to. And these are all the different objectives that we learned in this lesson. And now it is time for your assessment. It says complete 04.01, ¿Cómo eres de pequeño? This quiz covers the lesson 04.01. Okay, I'm going to pause here and pick up when I get to the assignment. Okay, when you open up your assignment 04.01, ¿Cómo eres de pequeño? You're going to start new attempt. You can click this button, start new attempt. Let me move me over here. Okay. Okay, so this is when you're going to practice all this great stuff you just learned in lesson 04.01. Okay, so question 1, read and choose the correct option to complete the sentence. Cuando yo era un niño, a veces blank con ser astronauta cuando me dormía. Okay. So this is going to be like, when I was a little boy, sometimes blank with to be an astronaut when I was sleeping. So this is probably talking about like dreaming. So you got to figure out which one of these is talking about dreaming. Jugaba, miraba, montaba. So you got to figure that out. All right. So read and choose the correct option to complete the sentence. En mi niñez me gustaba el fútbol y yo blank en la calle. So iba a la oficina, jugaba afuera, mejoraba los dibujos o molestaba a mi maestra. Okay, so this, is en mi niñez, in my childhood, me gustaba. That's like I used to like el fútbol, me gustaba el fútbol. Y yo, so this is describing something that he did ongoing in the past. So we're going to assume it's probably not something to la oficina, that's an office. Probably not something, miraba los dibujos, is like looking at drawings. Molestaba a mi maestra is like irritating my teacher. Okay, so jugaba, like jugar, is the verb there, and it's changed to imperfect tense, which is like so I used to play afuera. Okay, so your questions may look a little bit different also because they are mixed. The virtual school curriculum does mix up the questions, so not everybody gets the exact same questions in every so you get different versions of the questions depending on just how it's like shuffled up in the course. So question 3, so just if it looks different than on yours than mine that I'm showing you, then that's why. Read and choose the correct option. John tiene 25 años. Cuando era pequeño, John soñaba que era un superhéroe y